Keith, Raad, welcome to the Sport Profile.
Thank you very much, Dylan. It's good to be here.
I'm super excited for this, man. I mean, look, happy early baseball season. We're in spring training right now. You know, the Mets are 11-9 in spring training, but what are your predictions for this season? What are your hopes? What are you excited for?
Yeah, coming off the most transformative offseason in Mets history. And
You think so?
getting to sit next to Howie Rose, who was literally born before the Mets existed, and running that line by him. And he said, yeah, that's fair. I said, okay, I'm going to go with that because that's what it's felt like to me as, you know, someone who's been born in the 90s.
He agreed with you on that.
He did agree with me on that. So
Really?
He did, which was interesting because he's the Mets historian. So I do believe that.
True.
I do believe that because the gut punch of the losses of the players that were to the fans and who they've been replaced by, and the brash, brazen confidence that the front office has to make those moves in a market where most of the people in those jobs in the past have had such pressure to win and will do anything at all costs to make everybody happy. This front office has done things that doesn't make a lot of people happy, and I kind of like that. I like the edge to that because that to me is a different way of doing it, because whatever's been going on for the last 60 years with the Mets has not been consistent. So someone has come in and has tried to make it consistent. And I'm behind that. I'm behind that kind of vision.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I do see the vision. I see it, you know, I mean, look, Steve Cohen's obviously willing to open up his wallet, you know, and get that $370 million payroll and flaunt it in relation to the Dodgers. From a fan's side, people are going to see that. And then they'll see people like Diaz walk to the Dodgers. They'll see Pete Alonso going to the Orioles, and they're like, "I thought you were Mr. Wallet. Where's our guys?"
There's a method to the madness. Madness,
of course,
and that's the thing that I think fans have to see first before they believe it. And I get all that, but you don't just pay people because you can. I mean, you don't. That's not smart money. That's just a lot of money. And Steve is smart. He's not just rich as hell. He's really smart at building systems. And if you listen to Steve's interviews that he's done talking about the Mets, he wants to get the system right. He'll spend whatever it takes to get the system right. He wants to figure it out. It's a puzzle for him. Yes, he has a lot of money.
Like everything.
But it's a monopoly. You have a lot of money, but how did you build the hotels? How did you build this game so that you win? And that's what he's trying to do.
Right. I mean, look, like you can it's never easy to get a solid 1 to 9. You know, there are pieces to that puzzle, like you said. Baseball is obviously a marathon season, Keith, and I've asked this to a handful of folks, and everybody's giving me a different answer. So yours is, you know, equally as interesting to me from a broadcaster side specifically. How do you mentally prepare yourself, professionally and personally? You know, even more so on the personal side. How are you mentally preparing yourself for a marathon season?
And it is a marathon. I do all 162 games. I don't try to do that. I just show up for work every day and there's a game. And I've made it for 3 years in a row. I missed games my first year because my daughter was born. Sorry. But but it is a marathon.
Valid reason.
10 years in the minor leagues of doing this and going through it really helped when you're all by yourself doing these games in the minor leagues, home and road. And now, you know, working with a team, Howie, myself, and Pat McCarthy, it breaks it up a little bit more. You're not just doing every inning of every game, but going through that gauntlet with the girlfriend at the time, now my wife with 2 children.
The minor league gauntlet?
She's done it with me. So because we've done it as a team, we know that we build it. I mean, we're coming down to the wire here, so we're making sure, okay, what's our plan look like? How's our child care? You have everything you need? It's a lot of checklists of life because once the season starts, I mean, there are times where dad's gone for a week, dad's gone for 2 weeks. Dad's not going to put you to bed for a month. It's tough. So that personal side of it, we have to go through a whole process of getting ready. But once it begins, as much as it's a stressor on the family, everybody's into it. My wife loves sports. She loves baseball. She listens all the time. And my daughters are going to grow up loving baseball. So that we're excited for. And the off season to me is precious. So we just had our second child.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to go out and do another full season of something else. It's just not fair. Not yet, at least. Yeah. So the off season is precious because the season is, I've dedicated to it. And this is why, because it's to me the best thing ever, baseball season.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, it's a sign of things to come. Like when spring training starts, for me, it's just like it's a sign of things to come. It's a sign of spring. It's a sign of warmer weather, which we desperately need on the East Coast, which we absolutely need on in the Northeast, for crying out loud. I mean, I've heard people joke about people bringing puffer jackets to City Field on opening day, March 28th. You know, and I'm like,
I
no,
know.
that's not what belongs at the City Field concourse.
Yeah, we had, and I worked in Brooklyn too, the Cyclones, and they went from
Yeah.
short season to full season, which instead of starting in June, beautiful summertime in June, they started in April. And the first day, opening day, because the wind coming off the water was so intense, they gave everybody Brooklyn
Right.
Cyclones beanies, like winter hats, like, welcome to the season. You're going to need this. Here you go. So that's just life in the
Something
Northeast.
totally not associated with
No,
baseball.
not at all. Not at all. But yeah, that's the nice part about the Northeast is you get all the seasons, but then you get all the seasons.
Yeah, you also get the fake seasons. I had to explain to somebody what fake spring was. They're a lifelong Californian, a good friend of mine. They didn't understand what fake spring was. When I said, I'm like, yo, that stretch of like 3 days last week, where we had 70, 80, 60, and then back to 30? That's fake spring. And he's like, isn't it like a one random 70-degree day? And I'm like, no, it needs to be a stretch. It's a minimum of 3 to 4 days.
Yep, we had our first one. I think we'll have maybe one more. And that second spring,
I'll take another.
Second fake spring, and then actual spring. We'll see.
I'll take another. They're always good. They're always welcome. But Keith, you had said something before when you were talking about your relationship with your then girlfriend, now wife, that was very interesting to me. You had mentioned that she's a big sports fan. She loves baseball. She listens to all the games. When you were going through that gauntlet of the minor leagues, did you have to do any, like, for lack of better phrasing, like explaining or convincing to her, being like, hey, this is what I love to do. This is my passion. It would mean the world to me if you were along for the ride. Because that's a hard sell to some. Knowing that, in your future, like you said, you're away for 2 weeks at a time. You're not going to be putting your kids to bed every night. Did you have to sell at all or, explain at all? And if so, what was that like?
Yeah, so we met freshman year of college, which all my friends say, you married the girl you dated freshman year of college? It's like, I didn't know I was going to marry her. Like, you don't pick that, Certainly you had 4 years of dating 3,000 people. I found the one right away. Sorry.
I mean, listen, look, good for you. You've won the game early on. Better to do that than play the field
Yeah, exactly.
for 3 years.
So she knew me as I was beginning this journey, and she saw the ugliness of the beginning for anybody in undertaking anything. And so the thing that helped once we got started and I jumped into the minor leagues was that she was an athlete too. She played volleyball at Dayton. She played volleyball at Hofstra. So she knew an itinerary. She knew like what's team time and when we can talk and hey, bus times, film time for a meal. Like, so I'd call her when she was on her trips and hey, we've got serve and pass. I got to go. Like, we understood the lifestyle that there are times to talk and there's times to work within sports. So that certainly helped big time. And I joke with her all the time. I'm like, thank God you like sports. That's another hack. Boys out there, guys out there, find a girl that likes sports and you're set. But she gets it. She loves it. She's into it. Late nights at the park or trips away, like, yeah, they suck for everybody, but she loves it. She loves the drama. There's a picture of when we were in the NLCS 2024, her friend came over to watch the game that Pete Alonso ended up hitting a home run against the Brewers. And there's a picture of her friend took of my wife, like on the floor, right, in response to the Pete home run. Like, that's how much she's into it. Like, she was brought to tears by that home run. So she's along for the ride. But there was definitely moments. She's more of the, I guess, the prototypical route of go to college, get her master's degree, get an amazing job, do great in the corporate structure of life. And my job is the complete opposite corporate structure of life. There is no corporate structure until you get to certain places. So that was a struggle for her to understand. But the faith, I kept reinforcing the faith in going for something. And she's always been for that. The hard part is, hey, in the minor leagues, you make nothing, zero money, maybe $1 or $2. And that part was tough. But once we got through that, and started to grow in this job, it got much, much easier. But yeah, she's been there since day one before anybody knew my name. She knew my name, which was nice.
Yeah. That's a huge point you made there. The fact that she instinctively understands the grind of an athlete's schedule. And, in turn, not many people acknowledge it, but like a lot of people in media are on athletes and teams' schedules. You're traveling with all of them. You're going to practices, whatever sport it may be. It's like you are following the players, the team's coaches, etc. You're doing what they do. And to have a partner there who like instinctively understands that, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, we have, I like to say we have like 50 touch points during the day instead of like the one big phone call at the end of the night, because it's, hey, I'm walking out of the Mets clubhouse. What's going on? Everything all right? We'll shoot the shit for 2 minutes, and then, all right, see ya. I'll call you up to clubhouse, or I'll call you before BP, or I'll call you before dinner, or I'll FaceTime and this. So we've got the rhythm down pat. We've got the rhythm. The West Coast games though, we're still learning how to handle all that, because she's up with the kids at 7 a.m. and when I wake up in LA to play the Dodgers, that would be 4 a.m. my time, and that's just not gonna work. So we're working on the perfect science for the West Coast trips.
I mean, look, they're always hard. I mean, even daylight savings time on the East Coast is hard, aside from the fact of when you play, the Diamondbacks in Arizona, they don't have any time at all. Actually, I think Arizona is on the time we are now.
They do their own thing.
I think we're aligned.
They're just like, we'll do it when we want to do it.
Which I think the entire country should do. I think we should all be on this time now, because it's more sunlight at the end of the day. We all want that. Right, like, but I digress, Keith Raad. There are bigger fish to fry, which leads me to a very interesting question for you. I don't know if you're a big fan of fish. I don't know. Fish isn't really where I'm going with this specifically, but more in the food sense. The Mets just introduced the 999 challenge that has occurred through other baseball organizations. 9 hot dogs, 9 beers, and 9 innings. For folks who don't know, I've never participated, but my question to you, Keith Raad, is if you were to do it, how far do you think you could get?
It's a good question. I do love, there were moments during bad games or bad parts of the season where we'd be doing the game in the 8th inning and we just hear a section of people cheering. I mean, what the? And some guy just finished the 9th beer in the 999 challenge, and you go, okay, good for that guy. I'd probably go 6 or 7 innings. I think
really?
So. I think so. I could put food away.
No.
I could really put food away, and that's, I've had to deal with that in my life. But
I mean, same. But like, I mean, and look, I don't know if you know all the parameters around it, but like, is it any type of beer? Is it just like something concessions provide?
Oh, I think you just
like,
people.
I don't know.
I don't think
specifics.
You can only buy 2 at a time anyway. So I think I grab a Mick Ultra, something light, or a Bud Light or something like that. But you can't. I mean, it was Patty's Day the other day, and how many Guinness can you have until you fall on your face?
Sure.
Some people know the answer to that, but not me.
I mean, look, I would do this with Angry Orchard.
That's a lot of sugar.
I think I could do that with Angry Orchard. It is a lot of sugar, but it's like one of the only things I like. I'm just not that big into alcohol.
The 999 is, you got to find something else then. Something bubbly and fizzy.
I want to find
seltzer. That would even be hard. I think that'd be harder. It's like 9 seltzers.
Because you would just get bloated.
It's the whole thing. Yes. Yeah.
That too. I would want to introduce like a 4th 9, because my birthday is 9/9/99.
So you have to do it, Dylan. You can't shy away from this stuff. It's September.
Yeah, but what's the 4th 9 gonna be? What's the 4th 9 gonna be? Although, now that you mentioned that, Keith Raad, I do think on my birthday, and I don't know what day of the week it is, or whether the Mets will end up playing in September, but I would have to do. I feel like I'd have to do something.
Do you like dessert? Like, are you going to throw cannolis in there or something? 999. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of work. Get 9 of your friends, 8 of your friends.
That is a lot of work.
I don't know.
I'll tell you this though. Last year I was at a Mets game and I did get, I think, 7 or 8, including myself, of us to a game. And I was just very impressed with myself, because I'm just like, this is hard. It is hard to coordinate the schedules of 7, adults who are working jobs, who want to, also enjoy themselves. I'm like, and coordinate travel for different folks too. For those who are, directionally challenged. I know plenty of you. So it's very interesting dynamic, but I was very proud of myself that
That's
day.
good. I'm the fantasy
You know,
football commissioner, and it's hard, even via text, right? It's hard
oh,
to get. Can we just pick a day for the draft, everybody? Please, just one day we all agree on, and it takes 6 weeks to figure that out. So applaud to you for getting people in the same
yeah,
place at the same time on the same day.
it's a hard it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to convince and just be on top of. You know, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about, that marathon season, because it is such a marathon as we spoke about earlier, but what keeps you going through the dog days of a season? You know, you're doing 162 games a year, obviously, and that's tough. That is hard. Home, away, whatever it may be, personally and mentally, like what are you doing to like take care of
Oh, on a
yourself, quite
personal level,
frankly?
yeah. I mean, so I just like I love the marathon because I love the season because it's to me it's a story. It's a movie. Even if 20
Sure.
minutes in you're like this part is killing me, I just get through that part, and I'm sure the next part will be will be good. But it's going to take you somewhere. It's going to take you at the end of the movie. You're going to be in a place mentally as a person that you didn't think you'd ever be, and I felt that myself in my personal life. Like I remember summers or years of my life based on that baseball season. Music, I hear a song and I'm
Really?
like, oh my God, everybody used that walk up song in 19 or Chapel Row in like 2023, like that
Mm,
just, or 2024 that owned every stadium all over the place. And it just takes me back to who I was. But
it did.
as far as taking care of myself, yeah, I, I try to eat right. I try to exercise, all the boring stuff. I love meditation. That really helps, especially
Same.
when things get a little hectic and travel is heavy and long nights. That is really, really helpful.
Yep.
And then just the camaraderie of being, with the media. Like when we all travel, like TV, Gary, Keith, and Ron, we all travel together. Radio's there too. So like, there's a lot of people that
Yeah.
you can enjoy the time with, build relationships with, and that's the fun part. Is off the air, all the people that you're spending time with.
Yeah, it's interesting. You say you break up the marathon into, I guess, like sections of a season. It's like if this part sucks, like this stretch could be better, and I think that's a great perspective to have because it's really, you can take that a lot of places outside of baseball. Even, it applies to a bunch of different things. What would you say is the biggest misconception about all of that, though? Because
Yeah.
not everybody sees that. Not everybody sees that grind, and I'm sure there are a lot of assumptions that are made, or that you've heard of over the course of your career. Going through the gauntlet of the minor league system, which has obviously changed drastically over the last 10 years. But what would you say are the biggest misconceptions about you know the work that you do?
Um, well, I guess most people think it's really easy. It's not really easy, but
Hmm.
I will say the gauntlet of the minor leagues has helped me to enjoy and be satisfied and fulfilled by this lifestyle now because life to me is now easy because it was so hard in the in the minor leagues. So that part I think is like I'd show up at 9 or 10 and I wouldn't leave till 11 or 12 on a game day at home. And like now in the major leagues, like I'm at the ballpark at 3 or 2:30 and I go home once the last out is complete. So in that sense it's easy, but
Yeah.
the pressure and the preparation is really hard. Um, misconceptions, I don't really know if I have a good answer to that because I don't yeah, I don't think I have a good answer to that, Dylan.
I think what you said before is interesting though. When people when people said like they might assume that it is easy. I think that is a solid answer though because it does like I guess apply people's perspectives to what they see on the outside, but how you positioned what you said of like now things are
Mhm.
easy because they were hard initially. That's like I think that's something not many people appreciate because they don't always know the gauntlet of the minor leagues, what that can do to a person mentally, even, certainly physically. I've seen folks, change throughout, working in minor leagues and in the professional ranks. I'm sure if you've heard this too, but like a lot of folks say like, oh, you want to work in sports, start out in minor league baseball and
it's
then
true. So
answer that
I've
question.
like the hard part, the misconceptions were in the minor leagues when people said, "Oh, you're making all this money, you're doing these games, this is great," and it's like, it may look nice, but when I get paid every 2 weeks and you and I compare paychecks, you're gonna go, "Wait, why are you doing this again?" It's not easy, but I knew I had the discipline. Not everybody does, of like the payoff. The payoff
Yeah.
is coming, right? I do that a lot with a lot of things in my life, whether
Mm.
it's diet or exercise or something difficult or saving up to make a big purchase, like sacrificing the short term for the long term. And I think I did that just in the career trajectory. So now that I'm here, I can enjoy it more because it was much, much harder beforehand.
Yeah. What are you applying that mindset to now, I guess, outside of the career trajectory, that grind now for that larger payoff later? Is there anything you're kind of working on right now, whether it's personally? Is there anything that you're doing or that you're applying that mindset to now,
Yeah. So
outside of your
I've
career?
always struggled with my weight, I guess, is just a personal thing that I just never
Mm,
really got a hold of it. And then
sure.
in the last 2 years, I've dropped like 30 pounds because I've just, thank you. And I'm 32 years old. It's like, all
Amazing.
right, finally, figured a few things out. But it's making some small little changes. Like I would, the first year of Major League Baseball, when you're going to all these great places, and at the end of the night, you're like, hey, where are we going? Let's go have a beer somewhere. And then all of a sudden, you've done that 30
Yeah,
nights in a row. And I'm not like losing your mind, but like if you had a beer every night for 30 nights, like you just had 30 beers in that month. And it's like, okay, that's great. It's enjoying. You're having
it's
fun. We're out
true.
with people. We're laughing. We're joking. But then, the scale never moved. So I would make the adjustment of like, I'm not gonna go out. I'm gonna do the other things, like just repositioning for a healthy life where my daughters can have a father when
Yeah,
they grow when they grow up. I mean, I wasn't in a bad shape, but
very
just
important.
like things like that I love. I've done like fasting programs, like 5 days of fasting, which is just miserable, but you feel so good on the other
Yeah,
side. Yeah. Yeah.
5 days. What happened to
I
intermittent?
was too intermittent, Dylan.
You just
They're like,
just
"Oh,
couldn't cut out the week.
you could eat as much as you want in those 8 hours." I'm
Clearly,
like, "Challenge accepted. I will eat as much as I want." And it didn't work.
I mean, go so
So, yeah, those
crazy.
type of things. I mean, fatherhood is the same thing. Motherhood is for my wife. Like right now, we like just got out of the
Yeah.
grind of an infant. She's now 4 months, starting to sleep through the night. But like in the middle of that, when they're crying through your brains, you're
Ooh,
just like,
love that.
this is not fun right now, but it will be fun on the other side. So those things happen in life.
Yeah,
Baseball to me is a microcosm of that. I love these
sure.
people. We're talking about the World Baseball Classic, and there's a mercy rule where if you score so many runs, the game could be over by the fifth inning or the seventh inning. And they're like, oh, let's bring that to Major League
Is there
Baseball. And I said,
actually?
enough with you people. You want just the easy way out. Come on, you got to sit there 3 hours a night, 9 innings. I don't care if it's 24-0. We're sitting there together. We're doing this to the end of it. Yeah,
That's also the fun
there are
of it,
nights
though,
like that,
too.
but yeah, I don't mind the short payoff.
Yeah, because they don't happen
Yeah,
often.
yeah, and then those
You
are like
appreciate that
some of the
more.
most fun we've had on the air is when it's a blowout game and you're just joking and you go on a tangent or start talking about something and fans who are listening like, oh, that was hilarious or this and that. Like
Hmm.
that's fun too. That's fun too.
That's what I love about baseball, because you get that casualness in the booth where it's so much more personal. Like, broadcasters can get so much more personal with their conversations and with their delivery, and you don't always get that in other sports because of the fast-paced nature of, football, let's say, or, basketball, certainly hockey. Um, you might get that in soccer because a goal is scored every so often. It's a low-scoring game, much like baseball, but even with hockey being, low scoring traditionally, like, it's still very fast paced. So you don't always get that. But that's personally what I appreciate about baseball. So Keith, I wanted to ask you something very, very, very interesting. You put this in your Twitter bio, and that is that you are famous for Irish goodbyes. First of all, why do you feel you're good at Irish goodbyes? And what is the key
the key to an Irish goodbye is the moment of the party when they go, God, he did it again. Like they look around and he's just gone. It's like magic. He's not there anymore. There would be points where it's just like, yeah, I'm out of here. Like I'm gone. I've had enough. See you guys tomorrow. But I love that. I just, that was always like a thing that followed me because, yeah, and I went to
Really?
Dayton, and Dayton was a great academic school, but they like to have fun at Dayton. And, I'd have friends that like go out to like 5 or 6, and I'm
Sure.
like, just, what are you, crazy? I just gone. And sometimes that would be at 10. Sometimes it'd be at
Yeah.
1. Like, I just love the slunk out. And now that
I'm
I'm
that same way.
even older with some of my friends back here in New York, like that I grew up with, you know, we got together because the off season's ending, and so we see each other a lot more and come out of the bathroom and, wait, did he left? He left. Good for him. There's a little bit of that in everybody because sometimes it's just time to go home, Dylan, and that time is different for everybody.
So the key to a good Irish goodbye, from
Totally.
what you're
That's
saying, is
kind
the
of what you do
reaction
it for.
after.
I mean, you do it personally. All of this is done for yourself. Everything that everyone ever does is for yourself, but it is the reaction
Sure.
you hear about the next day. Or go, did you say good? Did you just leave? Yeah, I just left. Oh, it's lovely.
That's the pleasure
Yeah.
for you. I love that. If you don't get that message from like, the somebody you were with, you instinctively know that like you did it. So you get some pleasure from that, of course. But I guess your perspective that you're articulating is that when you get that message from somebody else, it just
You get
adds
it
to
so
the
many times that you put it in
pride,
your
if you
Twitter
will.
bio, Dylan. That's exactly right.
You better believe it. I mean, look, you own it, and that's the most important thing. That's part of like, your authentic self without question. I love that so much. It's so interesting too. I feel like a lot of people do the Irish goodbye. Maybe they're not good at it. I mean, look, I'm Jewish. The Jewish goodbye is in fact the opposite of an Irish goodbye. I think there's some debate even about like if the Jewish goodbye is the Irish goodbye because there's two sides of it. The Jewish goodbye is like, oh, you say
Sure.
goodbye and then you get roped into three other conversations. Other times the Jewish goodbye is the traditional Irish goodbye when you're just like, boom, gone, and you won't know a thing.
I do
But
my family,
it's
my
so
dad's
interesting.
side, the Rad side. The Rad goodbye was kind of the Jewish goodbye where it's like, hey, we start saying goodbye at 4. The party's at
The
2. We
rad
start saying
goodbye.
goodbye at 4, and by 7, you eventually step in your car and leave. Like,
Uh huh.
so that like a family party is one thing, but
Sure.
if we're going out and hanging out, all bets are off. There's no, yeah,
That's like my mother's side. The way your dad's side operates is exactly how my mom's side is, without question. I feel like everybody has a little bit of it, but like maybe not
yeah.
enough
I
to
mean, it's
acknowledge it,
I
maybe
remember
as you and I
my
do.
wife would come to a family party, and it's like, all right, we're gonna head out, and like she's in her coat, and I'm like, you don't need that for a while, we're leaving, but we're not leaving, yeah.
So Keith, I know you mentioned a lot about working out, eating right, but what are some things away from I guess being a dad, your career as a broadcaster that you're really doing just for yourself to keep yourself grounded? What are some of those things that you really have for yourself that keep
Yeah,
keep
so I
you
think
true to who you are?
this is maybe a little bit corny, but like the season to me is my thing. Like that's where
Wow,
I'm most alive, I guess,
is it
in
really?
a corny way, is like when you're doing a game
Yeah.
and your headset is on, that is the most present you are ever going to be. You are calling you're calling reality. Like you're not
I
on your
feel the same
phone
way
like, oh, the
even.
2-2 pitch is outside. Like you are
Mhm.
in it. And so I have discovered, and in those years in the minor leagues, and even
Yeah.
now, like the relationship we have with the audience is they know me, or they've heard me probably better than I know me. Like I'm constantly learning about myself on the air. When the game gets dull, that's why I love baseball. It's like when it gets dull, it's like, all right, I'm bored. What are we talking about now? You got to find something interesting. And so that allows me to go out and talk about the weather, or talk about the
Mhm.
city that we're in, or talk about a player, or tell a joke or tell a story. So I loved that because
Sure.
that is everything I wanted to do. It's not just my job. It's like I wanted to do this at the highest level because I want to see if I can do it. Like truly, I want to see if I can
Right.
do it. And so that when I travel and explore other cities, I love that part of it too. I love going out to eat, local culture and cuisine. So,
Absolutely.
I have personal, like I play the guitar, I love music with all my heart, but like the season to me is my thing. And that's
Same.
where my wife, like when she's like, if it gets tough in a stretch, it's like, I just know that you're your happiest. I'm happy for you during the season because I
Yeah.
just love baseball so much because I'm a 5-year-old kid in a 32-year-old man's body that all that together is like my reason to do this.
I was gonna ask about that even. Like, is that what kept you going through that gauntlet of, the minor leagues, that mindset of like, you know, having that childlike excitement for the work that you're doing? Is that what
Yeah, I
kept you
mean, I come
going
out of college and it's like,
through those
okay,
tough times in the
Dayton
minor
was a big
leagues?
basketball school, so I did a lot of basketball, do a lot of soccer, do a lot of football.
Right.
I did. I did
And you
start
only
baseball
started this
very,
as
very
a junior,
late
by the
because it
way.
just wasn't a big thing. Um, and but the more you do
Sure.
sports and you try to get good at it and you send your tape out, okay, what am I going to do in this broadcasting space? I always got back to like, hey, your football's good, your basketball's good, but your baseball is like really good. It's like, oh, because it's the most instinctual sport that I have.
Mm,
Growing up, my dad was the coach, best friend was the dad was the manager. We
yeah.
played for like baseball's been my whole life. So that part, like I love that. And
Right.
for the Mets fans who might be listening, like Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling, who do the games with Gary Cohen on television, they're like in their 70s, right? They've had
Yeah.
their careers, but they still you catch them, you walk through the cafeteria, the media room, and like Keith Hernandez is talking about like how to catch up to an inside sinker, or Ron is talking about finishing on a breaking. Like they love it too. Like they could be playing golf for the rest of their lives, or like living and
Sure.
chilling out, but they just love the game. Like the other night, I'm on my feet. WBC, the
Yeah.
U.S. against the Dominican. Like I'm standing up in my living room. It's March, but I just love it. I just
I mean,
love.
huge.
I'm like, wow, he went with a 2-0 changeup. Like great
Yeah.
execution. And my wife's like, "You're insane." Like, I just love it. I just love it. And so that part of it, it never gets old for me. The characters
Yeah.
change. I love knowing the characters, but the game itself to me is
Sure.
fascinating because as much as we talk about David Stearns and the Mets front office trying to figure it out, it's so random. You can't figure it all out. And that's what I think keeps a lot of
Hmm.
people coming back is like, you never know what you're going to see at the ballpark that day. You're always going to see something you've never seen, and it's always random. It is
That's
always
true.
random. Mhm.
Yeah. And that's the fun of it. It really is. So, Keith Rad, the last question I do ask everybody on this podcast is just your career aside, your work with the Mets aside, really you as a person. Keith Rad, what's something you like most or admire about yourself?
I think it is the confidence about what's to come. I mean, like in my own abilities to figure it out. I've been really good at figuring it out.
Mm,
Like the minor leagues, since we're talking about that,
yeah,
is just like there's no one to help you. There's people who have done it before, but there's no one calling people on your behalf. You have to get yourself
sure.
better. You have to take feedback. And so I like those kind of self challenges because I just like to see what it looks like
Really?
6 months from now. Like I sucked when I started this. I was so bad that even after the first game, my mother was like, "Yeah, maybe you want to do something else." Like, and your own mother says that to you. The challenge of this is like, I want to know what I sound like at 35 and 45 and 55. Did I did I rise to
Really?
that challenge? Like to me, life is a big challenge. Like I don't like to play it safe, and so I think
Of
it's weird to
course.
say I admire myself about something, but truly, you're asking this question, like, what is the motivation driving me? Is like to see if I can do it, right? To like see if I can every night, don't screw it up.
Really?
Big job. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see if we can
Yeah.
do this. So I love all that. And yeah, and I do that with other things in life too, but baseball is obviously the, broadcasting. I didn't think I'd ever get here, and I got here at 29.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just shocked.
May we all continue to have that inspiration and be able to see a confident future for us. May we all continue to have that
Dylan,
confidence.
this was a
in our
pleasure.
future.
Thanks so much, man.
Keith Raad, thank you so much for coming on.